We've had to prove to society that this is education of the future. But once you go through the first 3 cohorts and people start seeing the results, industry start testifying of the sort of young people that are working for them, what the young people are saying. So you need stories. Education is the human being, nothing else.
Turn around. Turning point. Yeah. He's a turnaround. Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with Enterprise Group, MTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Today we continue our conversation with women in leadership, exploring some of the most incredible things women are doing, lifting high the flag of Ghana, especially in Ghana Month, and challenging us to become the very best that we can be. In the studio today, I have one of my favorites, somebody who has thrown the light onto the technical and vocational sectors across Africa in a way that probably no one else has done from my perspective. My good friend, Constance Elizabeth Swaniker. Constance, good to see you.
Good to see you, Albert.
And it's the first time we're sitting together this year. So if I can say so, in March, Happy New Year.
Belated Happy One now.
And then also to congratulate you on the occasion of International Women's Day and Month that you're celebrating on the show this month.
Thank you.
So for those who may not know, Constance founded Accents and Arts, but that is the Old Testament. And then she went on to found the Design and Technology Institute, a model institute for projecting ATVET at the very highest level and bringing together young people and giving them a future. And then the next phase of that is this ultra-modern campus about to be launched in Brekusu. We'll talk about that today and find out the transitions on the journey. But Constance, let's start with the person, the philosophy of life. What exactly are you looking for?
Discovering my purpose-driven life, self-actualization and self-realization. I think a lot of people don't find that. Some people never find that, till they leave this earth. I'm lucky to have found my purpose and my mission in transforming the lives of young people.
It's something that permeates our lives here at Springboard as well. I mean, we share that in common. That's how come we intersect in various ways in the work that we do. But tell me, what exactly are you trying to do with the young people that I find around you every time I come to your campus?
I find that with this generation of young people, society for me has failed them in a way that, as an adult, having charted your path, I think it's our responsibility to guide them into the future of work, which is really uncertain. And with the advances in technology, really, we can't really predict what that looks like. It's changing so rapidly. And so what we do with young people is really giving them the skill sets, the mindset shift, and instilling in them the confidence that they have to shape the future themselves. One thing that I tell young people, that nobody owes you anything. Whatever you do in life is, you have to walk your journey. Success is something that you have to define yourself. We can only just cheer them on from the sidelines and lead from behind, but we expect them to take that charge themselves.
When it comes to the demographic you deal with and even the kinds of backgrounds that they come from, how they come in and how they leave. But let me take you a couple of decades back, if I may, to when you began this journey with Accents and Arts.
Yeah.
Obviously, very uncharted territory. Did you ever imagine that you would travel this far pursuing what you love?
I had no idea. But that's the beauty about the journey. It's like you're on a road, and sometimes the road is windy. Sometimes you see fog. You're not sure what is on the other side. But you have to keep, tunnel vision, and stick to one thing and do it properly. That's something that I've always done. Sticking to one thing and relentlessly pursuing that and working towards that journey. I think the journey leads you. So you're on a road of discovery and allow it to lead you. I think the aspect for me was just trusting God and trusting the process. Because at the end of the day, scripture, He knows the plans that He has for us. And that's one thing that has always defined the way I've trusted God to lead me to where He wants me to be, my purpose-driven life. And I'm thankful for that, just listening and heeding to instruction.
Have you always been a very focused person?
Very serious, very focused.
Where did it come from? Your mom, your dad, your background, your experiences, your persona?
I don't know, but just very silent determination. I grew up in a home where my siblings always were the shine, because they were very academic. So naturally, the sibling that is bringing straight A's and you are bringing in sometimes C's and D's and you're struggling, you always have to, so I had to find strength in me and my own voice, not to, I wouldn't use the word, so that your confidence is not dented in any way. So my mother would always tell you that I'm full of surprises. They didn't know what to expect. Very powerfully, I found my own voice very early on. So I took pleasure in shocking them. When they least expected, then I'll do something. But I think now they kind of like figured out this one. I've proven myself over and over and over again that I don't have anything to prove to anybody but to prove to myself, to be my biggest cheerleader. So that has been my mantra. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader.
Would it be something we can pull to help a parent who's having a child getting mid-level results, that it doesn't necessarily mean that it could just be that at that phase of their lives, they're trying to find themselves. So parents shouldn't get too exasperated. Yeah,
that's a very good point, because I was actually a very late developer. And I have two sons. One is just like me. He's turning 27. Sometimes I wonder whether he's 13, 14, or he's 27. But I look at him and I know that he's the one who's going to surprise me the most. It's such a joy seeing him blossom. And when you have boys, with boys it's even worse because boys develop much later. So I would say that I really fully came into myself in my 20s. So I was that late developer.
I like lyrics of different genres of music. And I'm just reflecting on Usibisa, the famous song, "We Are Going, Heaven Knows Where We Are Going."
Yeah.
And the part of the song says it will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough. Has that been your story at some times on this journey?
Absolutely. But that's the beauty of the journey. There are times too when you stand on a hill and you see the valleys and you see how green it is. Life is really a journey. The hard times actually come to define you. And when you go through the challenges, you understand why you were meant to go on those challenges. What I always pick out is, what were the lessons? What was I meant to learn from it? And then on hindsight, you're so thankful, but it's really the beauty of the music, the arrangement of the beats. It can't all be static, but it has to be the highs and the lows. And at the end of the day, it really comes together into a really beautiful piece. So we have to learn to understand that challenge is actually meant to, not meant to break up, but it's actually to define us and refine us. So I embrace those things.
Let's talk about technical and vocational skills. Today, I'm sure many will smile just because I mentioned TVET.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been the case 20 years ago. Or probably even
Even more.
It wouldn't have been the case at all.
Yeah.
Help us to appreciate how far this mindset change journey has come.
But I did art in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science, KNUST. We called it USC then.
Yes.
If you did art, then that means that you couldn't get even into social sciences. So the last resort, if you were lucky to even get admissions, or to go and do art. But I've always been a creative. So if I tell you that, I'll say that 50% of my classmates couldn't get into the other courses. So they were just given art. So you can imagine the perception. You are going to Mecca, we called it.
Wow.
And I was in Africa Hall, which was just opposite as my, the College of Art. So we were there, the non-academic, you couldn't make it, and that's why you're there. So everybody laughed at us because your assignment was to go and sit under the tree and you are sketching. Artists are mad. You're picking up pieces and, we see the beauty of things. And so you can imagine, right? But that has been my journey throughout. So I graduated and really, where was I going to work? I was a creative. And when I graduated in almost 7 years ago, there were no jobs for artists. So almost 99% of my mates ended up working in the banks. Usually for a young graduate entering the labor market, the banks will take you as lower end, So that was it. So I said, well, I didn't see myself working in an office. So I just started doing small things for friends and family. But I didn't even know, for me, that it was what we call TVET. All I knew was that I was just using my hands to produce things that people liked. It's only a few years ago for me, I would say maybe about 12 years, that all of a sudden the buzzword, and more recently, technical vocational education. But my whole life has been that.
Is it?
Yeah, because all the courses that I did, because mind you, I told you I wasn't a science student. So I did agriculture, I did home economics, I did subjects that I could use my hands and excel in. So it was how it was packaged and the perception for me that when I look back, something that, education now is really trying to make it aspirational. Also because of the future of work, with technology, some jobs as we know it will never come back. In fact, every day jobs, the disruption. And now everybody has realized that, well, if robots can do things, a robot cannot mimic, creativity, critical things, those soft things, and then skills. So again, coming full circle, right?
So in essence, what has happened is that what was regarded as not the first choice, not the prime thing to do, many years later is now the centerpiece of education, opportunity, and work. And one could not have predicted several years ago that it would be as good as it is now.
Exactly. So when the conversation started, it was something that I'd been doing my whole life. And accent and art, really was proving and showcasing what was possible. So it was just very easy to just be at the forefront.
So today, when you get to sit with the United Nations, the African Union, MasterCard Foundation, big international, global organizations talking about TVET, the journey, how far we've come, and then mapping the future, how does it make you feel?
It's humbling. Again, you remember I talked about the plans that God has for us. That little did I know that, when conversations like that, especially in Africa where our parents were so fixated on white collar jobs. Mind you, because of our colonial past, you had to be a doctor, a lawyer, prestigious office jobs. So for me, it's very humbling. I was at the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum on Friday. I'd never been there. And I saw some quotes that Kwame Nkrumah had talked about, Pan-Africanism, Africa, skill. And, he started off and he had a plan. So Kumasi Technical Institute, which he set up, Accra Technical University, then I saw, ATTC, all those prestigious TVET schools. Because remember, Ghana was producing, we had factories, we were doing something, and then somewhere along the line, that dream that he had was curtailed. So I felt this overwhelming sense of responsibility that, my goodness, we are the generation of Ghanaians that will take Ghana forward, because there was a long-term vision. Singapore followed through. but because their education was really focused on TVET, they are now a major, major industrialized country. Same with, countries like South Korea, especially the Asian countries, China. So if you have a long-term vision of where you're going, I feel this sense of responsibility that, well, we've been given that chart to make sure that we take Ghana forward into its industrialization agenda.
One day I went to, when you talked about everybody wanting to go and work in a bank, actually, at a point, felt like abandoning my what I was pursuing and going to work in a bank. And my mom was also part of it. She felt, Charlie, to go and do something so that I can see myself. So I actually applied for a job in a bank.
Yeah.
And then somehow I was turned down.
Yeah.
At the final stage. One day, after one of my awards and one of the high points of my life, I went to the MD of the bank and said thank you to him. Yeah. He was shocked. I said, thank you so much that you didn't take me. I would have missed my way in life. Yeah. He was so shocked. Yeah. I mean, nobody can say thank you to you for not giving them a job. Yeah. So the pressure in those times was real. Yeah. It was almost like that is it. Yeah. If not anything else, it's not it. Mm-hmm. Do you think have we come far enough to the point where there's joy, there's excitement that you are pursuing? I mean, not for you. I mean, yours is obvious. For the young person who's now pursuing that path, that they are doing what they really were born to do, what they love to do, with no explanations, inverted commas, or quotes. Are we there yet?
2 days ago, I woke up and there was a message that one of our female welding instructors had sent me. Really lovely message. And she said, thank you for making it possible for girls in a male-dominated space, because now we have so many welding students, all female, that we never thought it would have been possible. And I thought, wow, this is so inspiring that, young girls especially, and I'd like to hammer on younger because, of course, it's Women's Month, who never would have thought that it was possible for them to wear overalls and compete, next to men and even be better than them. That for me is, wow, then your work is halfway done. How do we have, thousands of young women who otherwise wouldn't have thought it was possible to work in industries that were, purposely set out for men? Because of course it's very physically challenging, but if they can't do it, then that's incredible.
Help me to appreciate the symbolism, the iconography, the picture, the impact of seeing a beautiful picture of a confident young woman operating in a field that socially has always been regarded as, one, a men's area, and two, an area for people who are not even educated. Yeah. And those persons educated, confident, and pursuing their dream. Just that picture, tell me the power of the iconography.
Very powerful, eh? And 1 minute you're wearing makeup and you're all beautifully done, and then the next minute you're wearing, you have your welding helmet on, gloves, your PPEs, and you're behind a welding machine. I think girls now have found this sense of power that, look at me welding, doing precision welding and putting together masses, huge projects. Just last month, our president commissioned a major metal producing company, B5. And on Facebook, I saw 2 girls, one next to the president and one next to the owner of this huge, B5 is a multi-million company, and it was our girls.
How did you feel?
I felt so proud.
Oh, man.
And here she was. I think they were fascinated to see girls on the factory floor. And so it was all over Facebook. And I said, wow, look at our girls in their PPEs, welding. I thought, this is what we want to see. Those positive stories and young girls telling their own stories proudly.
Is that the hidden truth of a positive national development that we all are not looking at enough?
Absolutely. I think storytelling is a very powerful thing. Women naturally don't tout their achievements. men are usually more confident, and if they haven't done anything, but women are not. We're very silent. But how do we also start telling our stories without you being told in this society, you are too much? If you are assertive, then you are too much. What do we mean by that? So it means, society always putting women down by the words. And words are also quite powerful. So if a woman is not confident, naturally she'll shrink back. So how do we start educating, society about the unconscious biases?
When I come back from this break, I think I will do a bit of TV education.
Yeah.
Because I found out that traveling around the country as part of the Ghana Growth Program, we're trying to excite communities, parents, chiefs, to help them to relax a bit when their young people are going into these areas, so that right from the community level, there's no pushback. And I found out that genuinely, many of them don't even know what it is. They've heard the name. What exactly is TV? They can't even relate. And also, because of the perception about artisanal work and the limited scope that they have, they can't visualize big things. So what the first thing I'll do when I come back from this break is to help us to appreciate magnitude, skill, scope, just so that person who says, all I want is for my child to do big things, can relax knowing that the path they are pursuing is not just for micro, but it's for large scale, big time stuff. Like the company you just mentioned, multi-million. Somebody may not even perceive that those spaces exist for their children to pursue. Is that a good deal?
Absolutely.
Constance Elizabeth Swaniker, one of my favorite people, is in the studio today for Springboard Virtual University as we explore International Women's Month. We say a day is not enough. A month to explore women in leadership, explore the barrier breaking work they are doing, and hopefully through this conversation, simple as it is, inspire that young woman that says, this is exactly where I want to be in future. Not just with the inspiration and the feeling, but also the tools, the ideas, the sense of judgment that would help her to pursue, as Constance says, single-mindedly, without deviation, the thing that is on her heart and mind, and be able, maybe 10 years from now, to be that next story that we are celebrating right here on Springboard, your virtual university. This is brought to you by the Springboard Leadership Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the Graphic Communications Group, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. Catch a break. When we come back, let's explore depth, height, breadth, magnitude, skill, scope, and what have you. Please don't go away.
Going to the library. Going to the library.
Okay. I'm going for my graduation. Go well.
Education changes stories, and being part of these stories is the real passion for us. MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage. The journey from idea to enterprise begins with one bold step forward. Are you a Ghanaian or a legal resident in Ghana with a registered business operating in Ghana? Are you between the ages of 18 to 40 years old? If your answer is yes to all of these, then this is your time to be in that spotlight. With up to 100,000 Ghana cedis in cash and mentorship to grow that dream business through Enterprise Spotlight, this is your big moment. From agriculture, fashion, engineering, transportation, AI and software technology, as long as it's innovative, impactful, and ingenious, it belongs here. Note that persons with disability are strongly encouraged to apply. To apply, simply scan the QR code or call the number displayed on your screens right now. This initiative is proudly brought to you by the Enterprise Group and is a youth entrepreneurship challenge.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university. And if you see me smiling, it's because we have an incredible conversation that is so empowering, that is just challenging us to become the very best that we can be. My guest, Constance Swaniker, CEO, Accents and Arts, and founder of the Design and Technology Institute. We call it DTI. And that's where many young people, especially young girls, young women, persons with disability from all over the nation and beyond are being empowered to do great things in the TVET space, technical and vocational space, through the education that they are receiving. We'll talk about that very shortly. But let me just remind you that Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, our partners, Enterprise Group, MTN Ghana, and the Ghana Growth Program. So if you are a young entrepreneur aged between 18 and 40, maybe who knows, you could be the next Constance Swaniker. This is your moment. You're partnering with the Enterprise Group in the Enterprise Spotlight 2026. And so the applications are out there. You can apply if you want the spotlight to be thrown on your growing business to scale up and become that very next big one. So between now and the 6th of April, just apply and you could find yourself having a share of the 500,000 Ghana cedis prize pool, national visibility, and a structured mentoring program for a whole year. So please go to myenterprisegroup.io or springboard.com.gh or call 024-9999-555. You can call, you can WhatsApp the word enterprise, and you will be sent the link so you can apply. If you are doing something big out there or something that will be big out there, please don't hide it. Let's throw the light on it and celebrate it big time so you can become that next big story we all celebrate. And by the way, Enterprise is now ISO 27001 certified or 27001 certified, and so your data security is guaranteed. The Springboard channel is where you want to go to find all the past editions of this broadcast. So those of you who say, oh, I want to watch again, please go to the Springboard channel, bookmark it, and then you can watch over and over again and be inspired. Not just this, but every other broadcast we have in our cocktail of broadcast programs. Constance, let's talk about a mission that you have to help people appreciate the sector that God has blessed you to operate in. I want an idea about skill. What are some of the big things happening in the TVET world that somebody can look at and say, okay, then this is worth devoting my entire life to?
Let's just look at technological advances. It's really scary. And it's been predicted that, by, I would say, even by just 2030, and then when you look at 2050, the number of young people in Africa who will be entering the labor market. In fact, every day when you look at labor market trends, the number of graduates that are entering the labor market recently, if you look at the incident that happened with a number of young people applying for the security services, over 500,000. And we could only give 5,000 young people an opportunity. It's a sign of what is to come. And so if you are an adult and you have, a child at home or a young person that is about to enter the labor market, you don't know what it is. It's uncertain, right? So how do we empower young people very quickly to have the mindset that I'm not going out there to look for a job. but how do I create my own job? How do I become self-employed and in turn maybe hire others? So that spirit of entrepreneurship, it starts from the home, tabletop. Most of us start our businesses from the tabletop, right? So apart from having the, very strong entrepreneurial mindset, the importance of also acquiring a skill. But your reality is that you're going to enter a labor market where there's very limited jobs. And the jobs that will be available will be highly skilled jobs that, technology hasn't disrupted. And the good news is that those jobs are going to be in plumbing, industrial plumbing. We need more plumbers. We need more welders. We need more electricians. We need more, I think these three big things. We need even more professional cleaners, healthcare. And the good news is that, well, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but Europe is aging. And relatively, the average age in Africa is 17, where the rest of Europe is 60. So if you look at where the opportunities are, if I were you, would you go and do banking if you've told me that an average welder, qualified welder, can earn up to $700 an hour? It's no rocket science. You need to understand where the jobs would be. So if you're an economist, it's been predicted where the jobs would be. That means that we need to redefine our curriculum. There are some courses that we should not even be doing in schools. Agriculture is also a big one. Food security, we need to eat. So those things that really you're building, those things that technology has been disrupted, means that what are the policy requirements to make sure that the skills gap and the skills mismatch that we currently are facing, we need to be able to bridge the divide and make sure that we're producing skills that there's a big demand for. It should be more demand driven, not supply.
So in terms of skill, you're seeing that these, it's not just opportunities in earning, but there are big projects that these people can find themselves in and be guaranteed that there's work they can do.
Exactly.
Do you perceive that, or if anyone said they were scared that it's only for a season, would you say that they are right or wrong?
It's not a season because, let's look at within Africa. Urbanization, everybody's moving into cities. And so we're building high rises, very complex engineering projects. So MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, there's a shortage of it. Your average plumber, even for, a single story home, how many times do we have plumbing issues or electrical issues? So when you look at the trend, economists have predicted that this is where the trends are in Africa. This is where the trends are in Europe. Everything is about, science and data driven. So that is the reality.
Let me explore the World Economic Forum report on the future of work. You've mentioned the future of work a couple of times. I get a sense that you're somebody who's tracking those numbers and those developments.
Yeah.
You like checking it out, I suspect.
It's very important. Really, really. We work with a labor economist and you see the trends. I think sometimes, you hear, hey, it's coming. And we are not prepared. So the reality is that in Africa, most African countries, and not just Ghana, are prepared. So if you're not preparing your youth, the reality, you see what happened when you put out an advert and say that you're looking for 5,000.
While we still are there, let me pinch your thoughts a bit on not just the hard skills, but also the soft skills. And the reason I do that is because in all my interactions with you and our collaborations, when you were in Temple working with DTI, partnering with you to support the students, I've realized that you focus on the holistic development of your students. Tell us the genesis, and if I may add, the exodus of that. Why is that so big for you?
I'm a mother. I have 2 boys. And young people need structure. I run DTI as if these students or young people that have come to me are my kids. What sort of human being would I like them to be? And I, just naturally being a mother or a parent, any young person that comes to our doors from day one, there are some rules and non-negotiable. There are some things we can negotiate on. So young people need structure. When you're producing or transforming a young person, you're looking for a whole human being. I'm looking at behaviors. I'm looking at values, the value systems, which will then define behaviors. I'm looking at, if I wasn't there and you mentioned your name, they'll tell you, I know you, which means that people are watching you. So critically, even more crucial for young people is the relevance of soft skills. In fact, 60% of our curriculum is focused on soft skills.
Help us to understand
And
why.
40, the technical, the spiritual aspect. We went to Sunday school when we were growing up. So you know that the 10 commandments, you don't do this, you don't do that. But you remember folklore. If you come from the village, then they'll tell you they're taking you to the shrine. There's some things that you just don't do. So that's very important, that the whole human being, whilst you're doing that, can they speak very well? Can they articulate themselves? Are they confident? Are they critical thinkers? Are they emotionally intelligent? Emotional intelligence means that when you go out with your parents and I look at you with one eye, I know that when we get home, you are dead. If you're emotionally intelligent, you're reading the room. There are some things that you just don't do.
Read the room.
You're reading the room.
Yeah, I love that.
When
Read
we
the
get
room.
home, you know that.
Yeah,
Hey,
unspoken.
and so when they go home, parents will ask you, what happened to you? Just one thing. Nobody will tell you to take those things out and replenish and fill yourself with good seeds. Good seeds that are important, the fruit of the Spirit.
Would you say that, with the benefit of having done this for a while, would you say that you are seeing the results of that approach that says, yeah, technical, you've come to learn technical, but that's just 40%. 60% is for character formation, for spiritual development, for soft skills. And by the way, the World Economic Forum says these are the things that in the future of work by 2030, from now to 2030, if you don't have them, you can't count yourself as being relevant beyond that time.
Exactly. Collaboration, teamwork, negotiation skills, all those
flexibility.
Things. Exactly. Adaptability.
Would you say that these are they are proving to be worthwhile investment in these young people?
Oh, absolutely. And the young people tell their own stories. When I did something wrong and I was punished and I was given whatever. On hindsight, today we've graduated and I want to thank you. They come back and they tell their own stories.
How does it make you feel?
I tell them that, you're doing it for yourself, and transformation, lifelong learning. When we are not there, the values, the noise, you self-check, self-regulation. And remember, we will not walk their journey with them. So once we've shown you what good looks like, you have to now walk your own journey. I think the seeds, the foundation, the foundational things we put in them allows them to thrive in the world. And the world, remember, the world of work is not kind. You're also going into a future that is unknown. But when it happens, are you resilient? Can you quickly adapt? Young people are all stuck to their devices. But, if you're working on projects, if you cannot work in a team, then... But, I'm happy with the stories that they're telling, and the stories are bringing so many young people. Now we can't cope with the demand.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Some time ago, the typical student of DTI will be probably from a certain cluster, a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Let's look at the beginnings and let's look at now. Has there been an evolution in the demographic, the groupings, the geographical locations, the backgrounds from which the students come?
We started with an experimental class of 9. Even then, I had to come and beg them to sit in the class.
Serious?
What TVET school to? What school to? So it was an 9. An experimental class of 9. We had to even pamper them. And then, we started with a second class of 32. The same thing. I mean, really, TVET. And we had to do a lot of work. We've had to prove to society that this is education of the future. But once you go through the first 3 cohorts, and people start seeing the results. Industry start testifying of the sort of young people that are working for them, what the young people are saying. So you need the stories. Education is the human being, nothing else. So curriculum, all those things that we put into the seeds is the outcome.
Wow.
So that was the beginning. If you went to Wesley Girls or Abri Girls, you're looking at going to university, not DTI. But now we have graduates from all the mechanical, from all the engineering courses. We have young people who could have gone to medical school, law school, straight A's. Now they're competing against, you couldn't go to university, that's why you're in TVET. So that's the problem now. So, but we have to now make that balance between those who are coming to, because they know that when they come to DTI and they have that certificate, straight, their quality instructor, all these top jobs. But it's important that we don't leave anybody behind. And so we deliberately give quotas that will go to female learners, male learners, young people from really deprived communities, rural areas, semi-urban, urban areas, because diversity is good.
Tell me the integration between the students from the underserved, relatively less privileged societies, when they come and meet these engineers and these big time educated people, how do they find their level and how long does it take?
They are hungrier. They have a point to prove. I know where I'm coming from. Look, there are some places when admission officers go, you have to pack your 4x4, especially during the rainy season, and walk to communities because somebody got 9 A's and he's stuck in a village somewhere. Do you understand what that means?
You feel like an ambassador.
Now, fishers. So I tell my staff we're fishers of men. Because if I take a young person from a community like that and I bring you to DTI, look at the ripple effect of the transformation in the family. Because young people like this are entering some of our top industries. They are going back to uplift a community they've left behind. So it's particular for us that we reach every single village, every region, to make sure that there's equal representation of a young person who deserves an opportunity because they made the admissions mark.
When I was growing up, it must be around the mid 80s.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor who was a chef and had been in the World War, had gone for the World War, was an ex-serviceman, had gone for the World War in Burma, and had come back with a recipe for a pastry that was very unique. And it was so much in demand that people traveled from different places to come and buy it and take it to where they were to go and sell. And it was alleged that when he was mixing the pastry, he would lock the doors so no one would see the formula. Against the backdrop of people tending to hide their trade secrets, you developed yourself to the highest level, developed precision engineering that is celebrated across the world, and then you opened your doors wide and are teaching so many people who would traditionally be called your competitors.
Yes.
This year's International Women's Day is on Give to Gain. It's about generosity, it's about collaboration. Tell me, for you, how do you situate this new life of yours, or this life of yours that you've devoted to giving and sharing what you've learned with young people, young women, disadvantaged people? Tell me what is in it.
There's an African coach, that I really like, that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. We're looking at solving a situation, a problem around youth dividend. Millions of young Africans who enter the labor market. I cannot simply create impact if I sit in the confines of my comfort zone. It's not about us. And remember, I talked earlier about finding your purpose. My purpose would mean that so many other young people would be part of this movement. So I call the precision quality journey that we've embarked on a movement. In fact, we're looking for more, champions of young people who would hear our story. industry who would also hear a story that, it's a partnership. Collectively, every single Ghanaian owe it to the generation behind us to make sure that we make it and create a better future for them. It's our responsibility. So this is a charge to us. What does impact look like? And what does skill look like?
Talking about collaboration, I mean, Springboard, as well as yourselves, have done some great work with the Mastercard Foundation. But I'm sure you're reading through, and I'm going to come to Brekusu in a minute, but for reading through the list of partners, even for that project, I get a sense of breadth, expanse. How much of collaboration has your project been able to garner?
Very important. So we work with the African Union. Of course, we work with Mastercard Foundation, but we have over 160 industry partners. We've started conversations with African Development Bank. We work with the World Bank. Because, youth is a topic that for any development partner is the number one priority. Number one. So it's important that as we scale, we work with all the players who, we're all pursuing one mission. And the mission is not just a development partner. It's even you, a small business owner. Can I come and give you 3 young people that can learn from you? Work experience learning. Young people need work experience. They need role models and mentors. So if we say to ourselves as a society that it takes a village to raise a child, then we are the village.
And that is a centerpiece of your thinking when you sleep and wake up.
Exactly.
Have these young people that you serve stolen you from your 2 boys?
Thankfully, the boys are old now. One is almost 27 and 24. They tell us, Mommy, that's your new baby. DTI. Wow. But they understand, and they understand that I'm on a mission. I've given them my part. Now I have lots and lots of other young people who I need to mother.
Talking about lots and lots. Your campuses now literally occupy the whole of East Lagos. Give us a sense of the scale.
Wow. So in East Legon alone, we can't even meet the demand. Now we have 7 campuses. Wow. And we're now expanding onto our Brekusu campus, which is 11 acres. At full capacity, that will take up to 3,500 young people. And it's right opposite Aseshi. So I'm really excited about how that whole area is developing into a world-class educational enclave. And so construction has begun. We're hoping that our phase 1 will be ready in 24 months.
Whoa. Yeah. I on behalf of the entire Brekusu community, let me thank you for choosing that location. Because when you travel across the world, you find that sometimes just the synergy of having a collective of like-minded quality institutions doing something creates a whole ecosystem that empowers several tens of thousands. And I can imagine that 5 years from now, maybe you probably going to take some drone shots of Brekusu today.
We do.
Because in 5 years from now, I have a feeling that people will not believe the roads, how the place was. But it takes vision to move it that far.
Yes. And I would like to thank Patrick, for showing us what was possible, the audacity. And just like young people have role models, he's my role model.
Wow.
And, he tells me, I look at him and I say, Patrick, if you've done it, then I can do it. They've...
And Patrick Iwua, president of Ashesi. President of Ashesi. Somebody watching will ask, which Patrick?
Exactly, Patrick Iwua, so if they've done it, they've, remember what I said, that they've walked a journey ahead of us. So we owe it to the next generation that we also create a path for them to walk behind.
I'm just imagining at full scale what that would enable for the young people of Ghana and Africa.
And Africa, yeah.
Yes. Africa is very important.
The rest of the world.
Constance, you're on a mission. So before we sign off, it's important that I give you a chance to speak directly. There's something about the magic of speaking to a young person, eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah.
And I just want to see more Constance Swanikers, more Patrick Iwuas, more young people who are authentic enough to believe in what they are doing. Step out there and do it to the very highest level. And for us to be able to look back and say, wow, if I told you 10 years ago, 20 years ago that this is where you were, I mean, nobody would believe it.
Yeah.
So talk to them directly.
I think if you're a young Ghanaian person, when you hear my story, or if you've heard my story this morning, it should tell you that I was not the A student. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would come this far. Believe in yourself, have confidence. It will take hard work, definitely take hard work, but the future of Africa is really yours. You know, I always tell young people that nobody owes you anything, but we will create opportunities for you to thrive. And so when opportunities are thrown at you, nobody's going to come and ask you, get up and pick those up. You have to chase opportunities. And if you have the courage to do that, life will surprise you pleasantly. And so this is a charge to you that you are going to lead the future of Ghana into the next century. And so we're counting on you, and we know you can do it.
It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there.
Exactly.
We will get there. Well, she's the president of the Africa Leadership Initiative West Africa cohort in Ghana. She's the founder of the Design and Technology Institute, which is about to build an ultra-modern campus in Brekusu. I think I should get a citizenship in Brekusu. She's also the chief executive of Accents and Arts and the winner of several awards. But here at Springboard, she's our sister and our friend, Constance Elizabeth Swaniker. Constance, thank you for making time.
Thank you so much.
I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have.
Oh, I have. It's been a really pleasant conversation.
Yes, let's do this again, and let's keep tracking and measuring and monitoring and evaluating the journey and the changes that are taking place as a result of these endeavors. And of course, at the New Wine Temple, we feel very proud to be supporting you as you raise these amazing young people. And
thank you so much.
We are glad to have a little part of the story. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
This has been Springboard, your virtual university, celebrating another icon, another great achiever, women in leadership today with Constance Swaniker. If you've been inspired, go out there and challenge yourself, challenge somebody. We can get better if we determine to single-mindedly pursue that assignment that God gave you. And that is the message from our guest for today. This has been brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and us, those of us here at Springboard and other partners. I would like to thank our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News Television, the graphic newspapers, and of course the Ghana Growth Program and the Springboard channel on YouTube. My name is Albert Ocran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.
Going to the library. Going to the library.
Okay. I'm going for my graduation. Go well.
Education changes stories, and being part of these stories is the real passion for us. MTN.
No stress. Submit your insurance claim online in just seconds on the Claims Express portal. Simply upload your national ID, cost estimates, pictures, and more to get started. Submit online, track progress, and get paid fast. Skip the paperwork and get back on the road with ease. Visit claimexpress.enterprisegroup.net.gh for easy claims and quick payouts with absolutely no stress.
Enterprise, your advantage.
The journey from idea to enterprise begins with one bold step forward. Are you a Ghanaian or a legal resident in Ghana with a registered business operating in Ghana? Are you between the ages of 18 to 40 years old? If your answer is yes to all of these, then this is your time to be in that spotlight. With up to 100,000 Ghana cedis in cash and mentorship to grow that dream business through Enterprise Spotlight, this is your big moment. From agriculture, fashion, engineering, transportation,
AI and software technology, as long as it's innovative, impactful, and ingenious, it belongs here. Note that persons with disability are strongly encouraged to apply. To apply, simply scan the QR code or call the number displayed on your screens right now. This initiative is proudly brought to you by the Enterprise Group and is a Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge.
Enterprise, your advantage. Turn around. Turning point, yeah.